I call to order the Open Source Voting System Technical Advisory Committee meeting of the San Francisco Elections Commission. Today is Sunday, April 21st, 2019, and the time is now 3:12 p.m. I'm the chair, Chris Durdonic. So I'm going to take the roll. This is, just for the record, this is a meeting at which attendance is optional. So I'm here. Member Cattell? Here. Member Haig? Here. And members Wasserman and Phillips are not here. Member Phillips told me he wasn't able to attend, and Member Wasserman, I haven't heard from him, but I assume he wasn't able to attend. Okay, so next item. General public comment. Public comment on any issue within the committee's general jurisdiction that is not covered by another item on this agenda.
Hello, my name is Brent Turner. I'm with California Association of Voting Officials. Happy Easter to everybody. And just wanted to give a little concept from the founders, the pioneers of this particular project, Alan Deckert and others who did a lot of the heavy lifting with Open Voting Consortium. We wanted to make sure that there is appropriate focus on the database and the election management system. We hope that there is going to be attention paid. If there isn't, of course, we know you've got to deal with the ranked choice voting and with a lot of other issues. But we want to recommend that there is attention paid to the original Deckert design, which is a simple ballot printing system utilizing open source GPL that was demonstrated first in 2004 and then in 2008. We're seeing a national security crisis with all sorts of moderate voices now asking questions about the election systems. And of course, we here in this room know the real story of the election systems and how open source projects have failed to gain momentum historically when it comes to voting. We want to make sure that you're properly applauded and acknowledged for the work that you're doing, but also that you keep a very watchful eye, because the stakes couldn't be higher here. The whole country is waiting for better systems to become available at the county level, and San Francisco is the thought leader and the action leader here within California. So we hope we see a system come forward that can become certified, and we set that precedent. I also, in closing, want to just make sure you're aware that there are likely some very major forces lurking to take over this project, and we want to make sure that we're mindful that this TAC group should remain a very strong watchdog in whatever happens moving forward. So again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Thank you for coming. Oh, and also just for the audio, today we're in the main public library on the 3rd floor in the Paley room. So it's just a little bit of a change of scenery. Okay.
See you all. Thank you.
Oh,
okay. Happy Easter.
You too. Okay, next item. Seeing no further members of the public. Item number 3, voting system component development. Discussion and possible action regarding OSVTAC developing and or facilitating the development of one or more voting system components as a proof of concept. Okay, so for this item, as before, it's pretty open-ended, but maybe we could just each go around and talk about what you have planned for today, or maybe what you did leading up to today, and then after that we could kind of just coordinate a little bit. So who'd like to start?
I can start.
Okay.
So one thing I did was I added approval required into the election definition, and just now added runoff date and type into the election definition. So I used that in the results So the JSON file that goes per contest and per choice. For choice, there's a winning status that gives a detailed code on what's happening, whether it's you're winning, you're going to run off, you're tied, you're eliminated for RCD, or you're not winning. And then there's more things with ties in case there's a, well, to break the tie, you have to do it by lot, but I haven't implemented that. So at Chris's suggestion, I also included a Boolean flag, which I just called success, which is the same thing as the winning status, but it's all the winning status codes that mean that they are winning or could win because of a tie. It's true. Otherwise, if they didn't win, if they're not eligible to win, then it's false.
Agree.
And then for, I use the same name attribute on a contest that's a question type. So it says whether it passed or not passed. So if success true means it met the approval required. And also, like a yes vote, it's winning only if the approval required. So if it's two-thirds vote.
What does the approval required mean? Or what is the data type of that?
Boolean. Success. Oh. So it's a Boolean type. And so, there's like measure A, for example, in November, it requires 2/3 vote approval. So it figures out the number of votes that are required to approval, and then so the yes vote wins only if the number of votes is greater than that threshold.
Yeah, I mean, what I mean is...
and then the contest has a success true if the yes votes meet the votes required.
Yeah, where is there a threshold attribute stored somewhere too?
In contest, in the election JSON.
What's the name of that one?
Approval required.
Oh, I thought you said approval required is a Boolean?
No, success is a Boolean.
And then approval required
is it's a text format, so it could either be, what I'm supporting now is majority, or number/number, or number percent.
Okay.
And so in California, I think we only have majority, 2/3, or 55%, or I don't know any county that has anything other than that. I've never seen any. So it's approval required is a text file. So majority is not 1/2 actually, it's 50% plus 1. And the others I think are just as is.
Yeah, okay, great.
So the other thing I did was I just now added runoff date and runoff type. And there's runoff type is a text field. And
meaning the next election or the current election?
Well, this applies to the current election. So it says whether there's like, right now there's top 2 or conditional. So conditional means there's a runoff if one candidate doesn't get 50%.
I mean, what I'm saying is runoff date. If it's the current election, then why wouldn't the runoff date be the same as the date of the election?
Well, actually, I hadn't thought of that. That could be a way to test whether it's a runoff or not. But the runoff date is the date of the future.
Oh, so it's
runoff.
the next election. Okay. Okay.
So if that's not, so basically runoff date means if that's present in the election JSON, that means that could go to a runoff. So top 2 means it always goes to a runoff, and conditional means it goes to a runoff if the winning candidate gets less than 50%.
Okay.
And so now I need to read that into the results calculator. So it'll change the status to winning, from winning to, well, it could be winning if it's a conditional and they meet the threshold required, or it's or it'd be the R status. So one thing I thought, right now I'm using single letter coded winning status, which I did because I was thinking of putting it in a TSV file, but maybe English word
Well,
would be
let's
better.
just be a little more high level right now. So we
Okay,
can go down.
so anyway, that maybe we can discuss,
Okay.
like names of the attributes and the
Okay.
enumerated values, like what we would like to have.
Okay. Rowan, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I didn't get as much done over the past week as I wanted to because I was also traveling for work. But I'm now, I'm just going to start by going through all the emails that Chris has sent me. And I started off with like the ones about formatting and alignment and percentage formatting and stuff that you sent me. So I'm going to work my way through all those things.
Okay.
And I brought my notes from last time about at last week's meeting. I took some notes about things that I want to do, so I'm going to work through the list.
Okay, great.
Oh, can I add one thing?
Yeah.
So this won't take me very long. It'll probably take me 15 minutes to get the runoff and get the June data. So after that, I thought I would work on turnout.
Okay, great. And then also, do you have
So-
the number of winners being recorded somewhere too?
No.
Actually, you need that for the
Well,
success attribute.
There's the vote for number. Well, the number elected.
Do you have that?
Yes, it's in the election JSON file.
Okay.
And so it actually has to use that
The
to
success
calculate,
uses
well, to calculate winner or not
Okay.
and success. So like if it's vote for 3, there's 3 elected.
Yeah.
But actually there could be more than one that has winning status
Right.
if there's a tie.
Okay. Okay, so then for me, I did a few things. I kind of completed the work on creating the command to run or through Docker,
Mm-hmm.
and I was lacking some. Oh, and I did the work of, compiling all the needed input directories together. Like there might be template directories, and the way I implemented that was basically I created a temp directory, copied all the code into that, ran Docker from within that, and then just deleted the temp directory.
Okay.
And that's
So
works out.
you want to do that as opposed to mapping
Well, the
the
volumes,
directories to a
the volumes was
prefix
not
path?
working out because I think that it's not a cross-platform solution like on my Mac. I wasn't able to get things to work.
Hmm.
But I think it's simple because the volumes it could be like there could be like arbitrarily number of volumes because
Oh, is that because like Docker runs like with it assumes like a Unix file system, which is different than the Mac file system?
yeah, there's actually 3 different locations. There's your computer's normal file system, then there's like a host file system which is like
Inside the container.
yeah, and then there's the containers.
Oh,
But anyways, this is just a simpler, it's cross-platform and how
Okay.
it works. And then the other thing I did was I'm working on kind of like the table of contents at the top, so I implemented, I have a link for each language, and it will click to that version of the page. So it's for each page, if you click on it, it'll basically translate the page to that language. And then I also implemented a table of contents of the headers at the top, and I made those hyperlinks, and now I'm adding the contests beneath that. So today I'm planning on finishing the contests table of contents, and then I also want to finish getting the demo repo to use the Docker command.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a couple questions about that. So actually, would you mind if I just ask the question now? Go ahead.
Go
So,
for it.
well,
Yeah,
did you
I'm
finish your
done.
list? So now we can go into detail.
Yeah. So my question is, when we're running or through the Docker and the demo repo, like Rowan, you had said that you wanted to be able it to work from. You want to make sure you have the right version.
I remember I had said something about it. I had found a
Well,
problem, but
Well, here's the
I don't
issue.
remember what it was.
Like technically, running the OR from the demo repo, you need to have OR installed.
Right. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah. When you, it's something like in the demo repo, there's a submodule that pulls in a specific version of OR, but then the build script doesn't use that version. It uses what's installed in your system.
Yeah. So.
And that seems like a problem.
But actually, I found it like yesterday. I found it convenient to be able to run OR from a different location because if you're editing the repo that's not the one in the submodule, you might want to run the demo from something before you check it in.
Right, that's true.
So here's what I was thinking. Like, how do you feel about if the script would just it would use what you have installed, but it would print out the path to what you have running.
Right, or there was maybe there can be a flag that lets you point it to a different one. In which case, the script that builds the demo can use that flag.
Well, the problem though is that if you have something installed and then you point to it, it's going to be like you can't run two versions of software at the same time.
Well, what I mean is, or does it not like? Well, in the this works differently than I think it does, doesn't it?
Well, this is more of a feature of Python.
Yeah, no, I had expected there to be because my the OR binary ends up being installed in your .local. It's not like I would have expected that script file to be like located in like a bin or a build directory inside of OR, but that's not how it works.
So, but I think I mean, the thing is, even if you run it within the submodule, you still need to install that version. So the most you could do is like we need two things. Like number one, we want to warn you if you want to use that one, but it's not installed, and then also maybe report.
I guess it should report that it's whether it's running a different version or not. I don't know.
Okay.
But I know, I see what you're saying now. It's like looking around the ORR directories. It's not like there's the build destination is not there. It just like goes straight to like the ORR command, like the file that ends up being installed in like your home dir /local/bin/ORR. That file doesn't appear to be directly built in the repository in a build directory or anything like that.
Well, that's all going to be taken care of. It'll take care of that. It's more like when you say import ORR from your Python code, like the meaning of that depends on what's installed, not where you pointed.
Oh, I see. So like what I'm talking about is just like not very possible without like a VN or something.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not that familiar with Python, so it's I can understand that.
Maybe we can fine tune it a little bit, but I just want to let you know, like generally, no matter what, you still have to install it from the demo.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. That seems fine then.
Okay.
No,
Did you want to ask?
So you're talking about the sub repository or whatever that's called. So what I did, because I have my own like repo in a different place, I just created a symlink and that seems to work.
Okay. Well,
do
you know about virtual environments?
Yeah, I'm using them, and I did the install, and it points to my regular Git repo for OR.
Ideally, like it'd be best to have two virtual environments, one for the demo and then one for the OR if you want to work on.
So that means two Git repos.
Oh, no. Actually, it's fine. What you could do is you check out the demo repo and then work on OR as a submodule within that. Do you like work on OR inside the demo repository?
Well, I already set everything up, so I'd rather not
No, are you,
reclone it.
are you working on the OR that's a submodule of the demo, or are you working on a separate one?
They're different?
What do you mean?
Well, I thought the demo repo references the ORR Git repo.
The one that's a subdirectory of it, it does. But you might have on your file system, you might have OR cloned in a different path.
I do. So I used a symlink and that works.
Oh, I see.
Well, because I couldn't figure out how to do it, so I tried the symlink and it works.
That's fine, that's fine. Yeah, if it gives,
And it
if it gives
doesn't-
you problems, we could talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's also something I want to ask you, like, I noticed for the contest name, I noticed that I think it's, you have like ballot title and sub-ballot title,
Right.
and then the ballot title is not unique across contests.
Because there's a subtitle.
Yeah, it's only the pair that makes it unique.
Right, so if we want to make something unique, what I did in Smart Voter is I didn't use those words. So title and subtitle are what's printed on the ballot. But what I did in Smart Voter is I came up with another attribute. Well, it so happened I called it title, but basically that combines all the things together, plus sometimes there's like a term starting, and so I combined everything needed to make a unique title.
Okay, so maybe for now,
So the only thing unique is going to be contest ID.
well then maybe for now, we could we could just have a method that concatenates the two, I guess.
Yeah, so, I'm trying to think if there's any subtitles that are not sort of required. Probably not.
Because
But what should we call it?
well, I mean, ideally, I think that the input file should have a string that is like we document as having to be unique.
I agree.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out what should we call it.
I would just call it name, or full name or something. Contest
Okay,
name.
let's see. What do we have? We have let's see. Do we have a short name, or is that?
Well, I think we should have, yeah, you could have a name and then maybe optionally there's a short name that's also known to be unique.
I think the short name is only used in the results because that's sort of there. But I thought maybe we had it in the original.
Do you want me to check?
Or maybe that's only for districts.
So anyways, it's something we can maybe talk about later, but I just noticed that.
So the thing is, like if we're printing results, we might want to print that like, name or short name even.
Okay, so
But let's see.
the reason it came up is because I'm making internal hyperlinks to like navigate to a contest,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not able to use the
Oh, yeah, because
ballot
it's.
title.
Well, the other thing you could do, I
I'm
think.
just going to concatenate them now.
Yeah, so I was wondering though if if all the subtitles are adjacent to each other, maybe it's just by luck. Because then you could make like, if you're doing like the across the page thing, you could not repeat the main title and just repeat
Well,
this.
we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But I was just on the simpler issue of the name.
So yeah, we use name and short name for districts, but we don't have that for.
Okay. So then.
So I propose we add the same two
Okay.
attributes, and we'll compute it ahead of time so it's a usable full name,
Okay.
or maybe some sort of abbreviated version of it that's takes up less space.
Okay. Sounds good.
So the other thing is like if we, so actually put in short name and some cases it's the same as name.
Okay, that's fine. So, and then, is there anything you need before you can get started? Do you have any questions?
No, I don't think so. I guess the only thing would be, should I verify that it's unique?
No, I meant for the winning status stuff you're working on.
Oh, no, I should have that in 15 minutes.
Okay.
For both elections. It's there now for the first. So the only thing is, I have not modified the OR source code.
Okay.
So if you just want to do, if you can do a git diff, you can see the new stuff.
Okay.
Or, well, that's the easiest way. So can you modify the OR data loader so it reads the attributes?
Yeah.
Oh, so
is it important for me to do it now, or can I do it later?
Whenever you want.
Okay, sure.
The other thing I wanted to discuss was, as I mentioned, there's an enumerated type called winning status that gives you a nuanced version. And I use single letter codes because I thought it would be like across the page in a TSV file, but I think I decided to only put it in the JSON. So would it be better to use like a more full word English instead? Yeah. And should we use like spaces and capitalized letters, or
yeah, so
or
it's like
underscores?
Camel casing versus snake.
No. I would use spaces and, well, I mean, can it be like a nice printable English string, or should we restrict it to like?
I think we should make it an ID type thing, like that. I mean, I would choose sort of like a variable name in code. It's kind of like a human readable, but not like meant to be inserted into a sentence. Because the thing is, we're going to need to have translated phrases for these anyways, so it doesn't really help to give.
Okay, and I also used a dash, but maybe I should use an underscore.
Kind of like your reporting identifiers, but maybe a little bit nicer written out. You have like RSCO.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe a little bit written out.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't sweat too much about it, but I think using a word is a little bit nicer.
Okay.
Or
yeah, well, because it's in the JSON, it doesn't, so the only reason, the main thing was if it's in TSV, I didn't want to make the names long because then it would mess up the columns when you're viewing it. So I'm going to make a change then before you process that. I can do it now before I push.
I think I had another question. Shoot. What's it about?
The Sunday break.
Oh, you got another question?
No, there was something that I'm trying to remember. Something I was going to ask you to mention as well.
Oh.
Well, you can ask me.
Yeah, no,
remember.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, interesting. Did you add these, Chris? The permalink header things?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm kind of as an intermediate step towards getting that contents working.
Very cool.
Yeah, and did you try the language links to the top too?
Oh, that's also there. Very nice.
Oh, I remember what it was. I remember what it was. So in terms of the success Boolean, this sort of one decision point is, and I mean I have my own, see what you say, but like in the case of sort of like an optional runoff where there's a winning threshold, you have to decide is if two people advance to the runoff versus if someone wins outright, like what did you call success in these cases?
In that case, if one person gets 52% of the votes, then they have success and winning status.
Yeah.
Well, now it says W. If the top person gets 49% of the votes, then 2 will have success, and their winning status is R.
I agree with you. Okay.
So basically, you have to look at winning status to figure out what it really is, but otherwise, there's either one winner or 2 winners.
Yeah. The alternative would be, in the second case, to have 0 people with success true, but we don't want that.
Well,
I mean, I agree.
I think it's
Yeah.
more complicated. If you want to make that distinction,
Yeah.
don't look at success, look at winning
Yeah.
status, and then
Yeah.
you can. I mean, if you wanted to not check it unless they actually won, then you have to use the more nuanced.
Are there any other cases where success might be ambiguous, like in the case of like a recall election or something? I don't know.
Well, I don't have it linked, but I have a code for that, or I proposed a code for that.
Well, what I mean is, are there any cases where it might not be clear what the success really means? Like if
Well, I wrote you an email, and that's.
was this more recently?
Yeah, earlier today.
Okay.
But, so what I was thinking of is maybe we could have a MD file that's for our codes or enumerated types. And so like, anytime we have these where we have a set of predefined values, then we can define the values and then the semantics for that.
Gotcha.
So then I would put in that like, all those, weird cases, like, I mean, the main thing, like dealing with ties, but then we have to break the ties.
Yeah.
So after you break the tie, then one of them becomes a winning.
And it could be dependent on the contest type and things like that too.
Well, it is. So one of the things I wrote in my email that I thought we should have is, you can test success, but then you need a filter called is false to distinguish it, because the values could be true, false, or none.
Nice.
Because like if there's 0 votes, then it doesn't, there's no winning status, or.
Yeah, it's a null or none value.
Yeah, so it's like
can do
in
that.
Swift, it's like an optional, Boolean with option. So in the template, we need to be able to distinguish a false from a none.
Yeah, it'll just be the absence of a value or as explicit null.
Right. Well, you can just do equal false.
Yeah, one Python that you do is none is the way you check for that. That's the idiomatic way.
Well, I'm just saying you want to check to see if it's false, which, I mean, it should be equal to false. I don't know if it'll be none or null.
Well, I think the way in Python, the idiomatic way is you first confirm it's not none, is not none, and then you check whether it's falsy, which is like,
Well, the only thing I guess it depends on the data loader, what it loads.
you can also check, yeah, false.
Because it could be a null string would be the same thing as, I don't know, is there a none in JSON?
Yeah, no.
Null, oh, okay. And so basically I write out nothing.
Okay, that's fine.
Basically the attribute's omitted if it's not true or false. Is,
Yeah.
and the other thing is that we might want to have a is question. So there's a contest type. And so there's like measure, retention, and recall, I think are the 3 types that have yes, no. So you may want to show your results differently.
Okay, well let's
those 3 types.
looking ahead. Let's I want to try to see if I can get this.
All right.
So now we just need an example of an RCV race where the same person isn't leaving the entire time.
Is either of the two elections we have that?
No, I don't think either of them does.
You could just tweak it by hand, just to.
Yeah, we could have some fake data, or we could find.
I mean, in the minimal test, could we maybe alter the input?
Yeah, another thing that we could do
You could
is
check that in.
the minimal test could use the minimal test could use the election night results, the preliminary results published on election night for the mayor's race, which have a different winner than the ultimate winner.
I would just construct it by hand. I mean, just alter the number to make it.
Right.
You could probably do it by changing one number.
Let's see, where do these numbers live? It'll be in sample data, yeah? No.
The thing I don't like about the Ginger templates is I don't know its rules for white space. It's kind of.
Oh, you mean how you're supposed to space things for
Well, it's
readability
never-
and stuff?
Yeah, I mean also I have a spurious diff and I want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's also something weird that happens here, Chris, where I don't know if it was like this before, but in the first round, the person that gets eliminated to make this +3 is not shown, possibly because they're a writing candidate.
I think this is Carl because he did this thing where he eliminated the first round. So maybe we talked about
Well,
that.
you're asking why is it different than
No,
that's-
he's saying there's a case where it mattered, the first round.
I looked, I thought
Or is it
I
just in
wrote
the-
code to check
is
it
that
and I
in the
didn't
minimal-
see any.
Is that just in the minimal test?
Yeah, this is from the minimal test, yeah.
I think that could be why.
So maybe
okay.
it's in a minimal test, so maybe in the real demo, let's see.
Well,
In the real demos, they're all identical, the first two rounds, right?
in the Sequoia file, they're identical in every
Yeah.
case.
So maybe to fix that, you could just make the minimal test have an identical first round,
Oh, okay.
and then you'll.
But, I mean, so I just took it out when I wrote the RCV data out, I eliminated the superfluous round.
Oh, okay. Yeah, in the real data, it does have this first round.
What's that?
So in this is the demo repository. Because this guy is a writing candidate, he got 3 votes, and then so he gets eliminated first, and the 3 votes all go to this candidate. But in the minimal test repository thing, that candidate doesn't exist, but that +3 transfer still happens.
I would just, it's an issue
So I guess
with
I
the
can just
data.
correct. Yeah, it's an issue with the data, so I can just fix the data there.
Oh, there's one issue that Ron brought up. I think I did a snapshot of the election results, and I did that before the election closed. So what's there in the demo repo is not the final results.
Yeah.
So
there-
should we just like do a new snapshot and then update it to avoid that confusion?
I think that would be good.
So I'll do that, but maybe later.
Yeah, sounds good.
Can I go over my proposed names for voting status, or?
I
do you care?
I don't care, yeah,
Alright.
it's just a,
It's just a variable.
yeah.
I think it should be sort of clear, but the full semantics need a paragraph.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could talk about this in more detail.
Oh, okay,
Another-
just
another
if there's
day.
something you wanna change,
Okay.
you can just bring it up.
Yeah. Okay, does anyone mind if I push to the OR?
Go for it. I pushed a few things, by the way.
Oh, you
So.
did? Okay. Damn, conflict.
Sorry.
It's okay. Oh, that's okay. Just need to rerun the test expectations.
Oh, yeah, you'll conflict with, you'll probably get a conflict into Shasham's file or something.
I'm gonna rerun the demo so we can see what we've got so far.
Okay.
What's up? What's up, girl?
Oh, I just made a stupid mistake.
Oh. You don't have to tell us about it.
I was thinking I got a tuple, but it was a dictionary instead. Let's see.
This is a fun part of this project because you can have high visibility changes for little work.
Yeah. Oh, here, I'm gonna have to add it here too. I'm having to like copy the relevant bits from the real data to the.
Oh, it doesn't have to be exact, but
No, but I just want that candidate to appear, so.
oh, okay.
At this point, I just need it to stop giving me errors. All right, fix that.
So I thought I had a bug, and then I realized for the state offices, they're reporting San Francisco only. So
Yep.
Yep, that's actually one
I
of the
guess
commissioners.
my eventual plan was to insert we have a protocol to insert cross-county subtotals.
Yeah, actually, the president of the commission made a suggestion about that last week.
Mm.
She said she thinks that's confusing about how the San Francisco currently does it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because
It's like someone won, but
exactly, it looks like,
So actually I could do that before I do the turnout, but maybe it's better to do turnout first.
yeah, turnout's easier and it's less, because there's a lot of ways you can go with the other one. Right?
Well, I have the data, it's easy to get it, but I could also write a parser for the state.
Well, no, but it's, even what you present is a question, I think.
What's that?
Even what to present is a question. Like what to show.
Oh, well, that's why if we have it in the result data, then we can put it in the template.
Oh, you're just talking about, oh, I see. You're just talking about including it at all. Okay.
No, I mean, so, it'll go into result, let's see. I think I had it all figured out. It's one of those it goes in the other subtotals, like outside county, like undervotes and overvotes,
Mhm.
or write-ins. By the way, every county does it that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be a fun conversation actually when we talk about how to present it. 'Cause So, Rowan, in the changes that you checked in, what visual things would I notice differently?
All the things about alignment that you commented on.
Okay, just the line.
Yeah, and the leading candidate thing is coming out. I got distracted
Okay.
putting Antoine Rogers back into the
Okay.
result set, so I'm gonna push leading candidates in a minute. And then I'm gonna make I think I'm either just gonna make a fake result set or like use an election that I know from 8 years ago that had like a leader chosen multiple times and try to import that.
I would just alter the minimal thing you need to do. 'Cause
Oh, just the one RCV race that it has, just like make up some fake numbers there.
yeah, just like swap the numbers.
Right, that makes sense. I can do that.
It might also be better not to use real candidate names so that people don't think it's like really Mayor Breed. You know?
Well, right, yeah, exactly, if we're gonna do that then. Oh yeah, I see what you mean about spurious diffs now. There's spaces that get generated.
Yeah, but it's like, it's not really, like when I deleted the space, it like, I mean, it looks aligned in one but not the other, it's not a one-to-one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. If you add a minus symbol here.
Oh, it's that?
Yeah, if you begin with, let me try that here. Well,
Also, something else, could I ask people's feedback on something? So I just posted the demo and this has my the latest work on the table of contents.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't get the contest hyperlinked yet, but these are only with the subtitles. So like you can see with these names are going to be even longer. And like, question is, how should these be formatted?
Well, one would be a
It
lot
could-
nicer if we can fix the case.
Well, yeah,
But,
but I mean, if it's a list, it's going to be like still. It's
Oh,
gonna
it's
be really
gonna be,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
So-
no, I mean, across the page like that is good.
I mean, we could use the short names.
So the other, one suggestion I might make is to, if you can map the spaces to NBSPs.
So it's not breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do that. I thought about that too.
But yeah, if there's short names, especially for the justices, like those are pretty long labels, and there's a lot of
Like U.S. representative, like like state assembly.
So anyway, so I plan to add a short name,
Okay.
so you could use the short name.
You also, your U.S. representatives don't have districts
I
listed.
know
so
it's
you
not.
have
I
three
didn't
times.
concatenate
it's
the
okay.
subtitle yet. This is what I was talking about. Before.
Okay, because
So-
some of the other things do have district, like Board of Equalization does have district in the
Yeah.
title, not subtitle.
Yeah, this is an issue with the name contest.
So the thing is, like, we could say LT period governor.
And like also this is something that's, the name is just a number.
Yeah.
It's from your input data.
Yeah.
So it's something little to fix.
Oh yeah, let me.
So Rowan, the thing I wanted to, this is another easy fix, but did you ever
Mhm.
try clicking on Chinese?
Yeah.
So see how like the font is different?
Yeah.
So it would be nice if there's a more consistent.
Oh, I don't know why it generates a different font in Chinese.
Yeah, it's something to look at. Is it on your browser too? Using Chrome.
Yes.
So this
it
is on the
different.
demo site. You can.
So anyway, I think once I get short name working, do you want me to do that next?
Sure. After the turnout.
No, before the turnout.
Well, whatever's shorter, I would do whatever's quicker to do first.
Okay.
And then Carl.
I don't know, maybe turnout is, I might have most of it already
And I
there.
think casing would be another nice one too.
What?
Casing,
What do you mean by casing?
uppercase, lowercase, like this. It's all caps.
Yeah.
So the font
Oh.
Is that possible?
Should I make the name be,
Like I don't
proper
think,
case?
yeah, because it should be a rendering decision as to whether you want to make it all caps or not.
Mhm.
Well, I agree. I mean, they did it wrong in the source data.
Yeah, but unless, are you just going to use heuristics to?
I think there's actually a Python. Well,
But it's not. It's
so
not.
actually the way I do it in Smart Vote, I do the same thing in Smart Voter, but so the way I do it is there's like a table of exceptions for capitalization. Like sometimes you get acronyms or other things, so I just enter them in a table. So I could use that if we need to, but there's also a Python case conversion library, but I can't remember now.
Uh-huh.
I think I used it to convert district names. So I'll look and see what I did.
Wait, Ron, did you say you did do the alignments on this or no?
I think I did, yeah.
On the RCV rounds, it doesn't look like it's.
So numbers should be in the RCV rounds. I don't know why it's not aligned there. Can you? So let's see. Let's go back to the overall thing. Yeah, it's also clearly not aligned here.
Oh, I might have missed maybe this is CSS file I didn't know. Is it possible?
Maybe. Let's see if it. Yeah, it's definitely trying to do it. But yeah, you might not have updated the
Yeah.
CSS file.
Okay. Yeah. Oh wait. Actually, I didn't forget to add anything. Maybe it's caching it.
Are you seeing this locally or on the web?
It's on the web.
Okay, so I'll take a look. Yeah, I'm seeing it right aligned.
You are seeing it?
Yeah. So if you hold down the refresh button, or sorry, if you click with, or if you right click the, no, wait, what? There used to be a,
Usually shift.
yeah, shift click the refresh button. Whereas in Firefox, there used to be in Chrome that there was like a little fold out thing
Force reload.
that you could choose force reload.
Well, there's like control.
Yeah,
reload
Control Shift
and
R
shift
should.
reload.
Yeah, Control Shift R should force reload it.
No, it's still not working.
Another thing you can try is opening the inspector, and then going to the network tab and checking disable cache, which is maybe even on by default. Go to network around along the top, and then check disable cache over there, just above where you are. Yeah, now if you reload,
Okay.
there you go. Yeah.
Oh, should we have a, like a contest status that indicates whether it goes to runoff or not?
You mean pre-election or post-election?
Well, post-election. So like there's these contests like Superior Court judges. They may or may not go to runoff, so what should we call that? Like to runoff, true, false?
Yeah, I mean, we can fiddle with the names later, but I think it seems like important information.
So I have runoff date, and I have runoff type. I could have runoff status or to runoff.
Well, what I meant was one of them is a pre-election day information, and the other is a result information.
Right.
So you're talking about result information.
Right.
Yeah, I think you could do that. To run off.
Okay, and I'll make it a Boolean, so it'll either be null or true or false.
Or have runoff, true or false, or to runoff, or yeah, to runoff.
Or has runoff. I don't know.
We'll have it. I think it's fine. Just we can fiddle with the names later.
Or just call it runoff, true, false. I don't know.
Well, to runoff's good. I mean, the problem though, Carl, is that again you have this issue of what does the absence of a value mean? And I don't think you know, is it just unknown, or does it mean that there won't be a runoff?
It means it's undetermined.
But we don't want to have every contest have to put false for that.
Correct.
So maybe it's only if the contest says it's a runoff election that
Correct.
yeah, okay, yeah, good.
So it actually means either a runoff doesn't apply, or it's like there's no votes and it's not yet determined. But there's a separate attribute that defines a runoff date, so you can separately test whether this contest might have a runoff or not.
Okay, I've pushed the round winner, the leading round highlighting thing.
Okay.
And now I'm gonna edit the.
If you want to rerun the demo, you can do it. You can do that yourself.
Yeah, how do I do that? Go to OSV results demo.
And I can also show you how to install fixture install.
Do anything. Oh, I have it.
When you have your demo repo updated.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so which do pip freeze, like which ORR do you have installed right now? At what path?
Let's see.
If you type in pip freeze.
Phrase. Yeah, I need to do pip 3. Okay, that says that my ORR. I'm guessing this is ORR? Yeah.
Do you see the path of it?
It doesn't say directly.
Is it a submodule or it doesn't say?
OSV results reporter. I think it might be this submodule. It doesn't. It's not clear. Subdirectory equals source.
Okay, here's another thing to do. Go type Python from the command line, then do import ORR, and then do print ORR dot underscore underscore file underscore underscore.
Oh, which means.
And that gives you the path to the file.
Okay, that's from my install.
Is it the submodule or something else?
No, it's my regular checkout.
Okay, so then exit Python, do pip uninstall, and then I think you might need to type in open results reporter with underscores. I think that might be the package name.
Cannot install, not installed. What about ORR?
Yeah, now
Nope.
it didn't let you?
OSV results reporter maybe?
It'll be a substring inside the pip freeze. It's the one towards the end.
OSV dash results. OSV underscore results underscore reporter. There it is. Yeah. Yep. Okay. It's asking me to proceed. Yes. All right,
Now,
successfully uninstalled.
So now reinstall. So it's pip install dash e.
And then OSV results reporter.
And then point to the submodule.
Yeah. So.
You might need to do the src subdirectory too.
Yes. Unexpectedly. Oh, I should update the submodule before I do that, so that it actually.
And also, if you ever update the submodule, you can just reinstall without uninstalling in a roll.
Yeah.
Well, that's usually not necessary though.
Okay.
Does it work?
Having updated the submodule, I guess I can now install the
Dash E.
submodule, so as the results reporter SRC. Yes.
Now you should be able to do run the generate 2018-11 script.
if I run generate sh straight up, will it generate all of them?
No, we haven't combined them yet. You have to do the 2018-11 one. We're just doing that one for now.
Okay.
Is it running?
Yes.
Okay, and then the PDF takes like a while. It takes
Oh,
like,
because it's the full result. Yeah.
it takes like 20 seconds or 30 seconds.
Okay. In the meantime, I can make myself some fig data.
So in the future, it might even be more convenient just to work from within your submodule repo.
Well, I also figured that I can just leave that one installed, but then when I'm developing, I can also run the Docker. I can run our Docker, and that will
It's whatever you want to do. Yeah.
that will build Docker containers. So
Okay, right.
okay, that's finished. Yeah, that has my thing in it.
Did it already get published?
No, I haven't published it yet. I'm just checking it locally.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. This
Cool.
is, I just made a test case where I took 10,000 votes away from Breed and gave them to Leno, so the totals all keep working. And that has this result where he wins in the final round. So
Is it
then,
checked in?
no, I'm about to.
I don't think we should check this. It's
No,
like
maybe
you guys
not.
are losing.
Yeah, we should. If we're gonna have different results as you be with different names and stuff like
Or
that.
can you just do the first round be different?
Oh, make someone else lead in the first round? Well, if the first round is different, someone else has to be leading.
Yeah, just what I mean is you can make Mark Leno lead in the first round or something.
Oh, and then somehow.
And then switch it back.
Oh, I see. Then, yeah. Well, then the numbers don't make sense, but sure.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you could. They just have to add up to be the same, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess now we know that it works. So.
Yeah, I mean, or the other thing is just change the name, just like John Doe and Jane Doe or something, and then
Yeah.
you can do whatever you want.
I have a question on
Yeah.
how do we want to deal with turnout, like with details. So the turnout could be pretty similar as a contest, you know, in terms of the summary data. You know, like we'll have number of registered voters, and then like precinct vote ballots cast, mail ballots cast, and total ballots cast. And from that you can compute the percentage. And then we'll also have, for the countywide total, we'll have eligible voters. So we'll have like those, you know, stat values, you know, for the totals. But then, do we want to have something similar for turnout? Like, we could give like subtotals by district.
I wouldn't worry about it right now.
I mean, do we want to have precinct level totals?
I wouldn't worry about it right now.
I mean, the data's there,
Um,
so it's just a matter of like formatting it, and what kind of format do we want?
well, if it
Or
fits.
so if I don't do it now, like what, let's say I don't do it today, but like, where do we want to go with it? Like,
Well-
do we want to have like a precinct breakdown turnout page?
Well, that's the thing. I think for at least for me personally, the more important thing was having the eligible turnout. That was like to me
So I'll get that shortly. I'm just trying to plan for like,
well, I would do the other stuff first, I think.
and then worry about it.
Yeah, but I mean, does it fit into your existing scheme, like of data, or do you have to create a new structure for it?
Well, so,
Or is this a question about whether we should have a fake contest or not?
no, it's kind of unrelated to that. But I mean, the results for a contest almost have that format. The only difference is that, like they have a registration. So the difference is there's like an area, and then there's a vote type, and then there's, you know, a bunch of counts. But usually with turnout, you just give them.
I mean, I think this seems lower priority. Like I think I would rather see like the contest name.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I just thought since we're here, we could discuss like what,
Oh.
how we, or should I just figure something out?
I mean, yeah, figure something out. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that if we have party breakdown, we could do that sort of similar to the way candidates are.
Yeah, but we talked about that. Like to me, that seems there seems like a whole separate category of like reporting on registration versus reporting on results, and like the party breakdown seems more like a registration.
It is.
I know, so I feel like I don't want to wade into that
Okay.
too much, but so.
Well, I think I know what to do, so,
For what?
on that, on the detail stuff, but I mean, I'm gonna work on it.
Yeah.
In the near term, so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe, are you gonna change the names or?
I'm not working on that right now. I'm just not gonna have a test case.
Okay. Do you want me to do a test case later?
Sure,
Or change
yeah.
the minimal test?
Some case where the in first round winner is not the ultimate winner.
I'll just
Yeah.
change the minimal test.
Okay,
later.
yeah, go for it. Hmm. Why did this not work?
And there's some, I also want to talk to you about the next bigger thing I want to work on. Interesting in me.
Okay, that didn't work.
So one thing I don't know on turnout, like, it seems like we don't distinguish between, we don't know if voters are registered vote by mail. Like, they don't count like how many people request vote by mail ballots.
You mean they don't report that?
Well, I'm not sure if it's reported or not.
Yeah, I mean, again, this seems like more of a,
It's kind of a fine detail.
yeah, but it's like we can always probe these.
I mean, other counties do distinguish between number of total registered voters
I
and
mean,
voters registered to vote by mail.
one thing we can do, like, we can start creating a list of things we think the department should report.
Yeah. So the question is for architecture, like, turnout is sort of similar to a contest that you have most of the same information, except that the stats would be different. Like, you only have like eligible voters, registered voters, and ballots cast. That's it. I mean, we could have ballots rejected, but I don't know if we even have that data, but that's configurable. So if I use that same method, then we have the ability to distinguish between like voters who've registered by mail, to vote by mail.
So what is the question?
Well, it's just a matter of like what schema am I using in the JSON.
Yeah, so
And so I'm sort of tending to use the same schema as I'm using for contests.
well, I wouldn't, my only request, and I think I already told you this, is I don't want to see us I don't like the idea of creating like a fake contest. I mean, maybe there's a more general.
Yeah, I'm not proposing
Oh.
making it a contest,
Okay.
but it just might appear as the same schema, so
Yeah,
that
that's
you might use the same, like, class, iterators or whatever.
Maybe there's even.
But the thing is, it gets loaded in the data loader, so it'll get loaded in a separate, it'll get loaded in a turnout attribute, not a contest.
I mean, maybe you can document it as, like, this shares a subset of, the contest attributes. So that way, like, someone knows they can write code to do both.
Well, anyway, that's what I'm inclined to do for now, and then, but the difference is just in the data loader, so that we'll have a turnout as a separate attribute, not, and it won't be included in the contests.
That sounds good.
You could always write, like, get turnout and contests that would return both in one iterator if we wanted to.
Yeah. I agree with you.
So you could handle it independently or kind of as if it were a fake contest, but you do that with a helper subroutine, a filter subroutine, not a data schema.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, I think that answers it. Okay, now.
Okay, I've pushed another change. I just removed the transfer column for the first round in RCV tables.
Okay. Great. How did you implement that?
It's just
Like a Django? Did you
just a
do an
if
if
statement. So
Okay.
you have this macro for show candidate round. So I'm just passing the round number in, which I'm just using looped index for the for loop. I don't know if there's a better way, like, I don't know if the object that I'm getting in that macro already has a round number or not. I guess it might. Oh yeah, round num. That's what I should be using then. So I'll do that instead.
Oh, I found the information on loader registrations.
You did?
Yeah, it's in a different place, sort of. Well, it says how many were issued.
So hey Carl, so with the contest name, like, is there like an official name to a contest? Like,
The
Is
only
there-
official name is the name that's printed on the ballot.
now how does that relate to the title and the subtitle though?
They are exact.
What do you mean?
The title and subtitle is the name as it appears on, we have the headings and contest names as they appear on a ballot. That's the definition of title and subtitle. Or the semantics.
So you're saying that
There's no official title.
it's just that they're officially a contest as a title and a subtitle?
Well, I guess you'd say the official name is how it appears on a ballot.
Okay. And then are there any?
But normally, like, people don't use those for reporting results.
Are there any cases where the subtitle's like not what we want, like maybe it's the ballot question or something? Or?
No, because I put that as text.
Okay. I'm just trying to, what do you think I should call it? Like if I call it ballot name, I don't want to just say dot name because it'll be too hard to search for the code. I want to have like a fuller, more unique name.
Yeah, use ballot name and ballot short name.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh no, sorry, contest name.
Okay, it'll be contest.contest name. That's okay.
Or contest short name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's not the ballot name.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
The contest title will be the ballot name, if you will.
Okay.
Okay, so why is that not working here? Okay, well this is unfortunate.
What?
Chrome doesn't implement position sticky for table headers.
What?
And well, so the trick that I'm trying to use to have like floating, like blocking column headers for the big results tables, is working in Firefox but not Chrome.
Oh, because
Which
it's
makes sense because
it's like a new HTML5.
it's a new thing that Mozilla came up with, and then Chrome was like, okay, fine, we'll implement it too.
Otherwise you have to do JavaScript.
But they haven't.
You might be able to find a polyfill for that.
Yeah, I'm trying
Polyfills are like JavaScript for back compatibility or forward compatibility, I guess.
So wait, what did Chrome say they are going to do if they just haven't done it
to.
yet?
Well, so they have implemented it. It just doesn't work for it. Well, it works for regular elements, but it doesn't work for the table header.
Is there a
some
bug
reason.
in the tracker?
I'm trying to find it here.
So
Oh, interesting. You
can
can
you-
have individual cells be sticky.
Oh, in the spec?
So you can, I think, no. I mean, what I'm trying to do should work. It works in Firefox.
Okay.
It doesn't work in Chrome, but it looks like there's some workarounds that I can try.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So are you making like a separate scrollable?
no, you don't even need to do that anymore because,
Well, I mean, that's another solution, right?
just making the body scrollable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would work. That's another possibility.
You know what would be cool? This is even like beyond what you're saying, but like if you have multiple tables in a page,
Mhm.
as you're scrolling down, it'll make the top one sticky, and then when the full table's gone, it'll. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
You know what I'm
well, you
saying?
can do it with JavaScript, but
Yeah. I don't know what the spec says for the built-in one. So wait, like with Chinese, do they, with this, if you're like concatenating this title and subtitle, do you have to like reverse it or something?
You know, I don't know how to do multiple languages. I only know how to do English.
Or the left,
I mean,
left, right language?
that's,
What was your question?
If, so we have this problem where the contest name is, you know, it's like there's a title and a subtitle and it's
Mhm.
really concatenation of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But like if we want to create a unified name in Chinese, would we have to like flip them?
no,
No,
because.
Chinese still written left to right.
Huh?
It's still written left to right.
Well,
Oh, it is?
actually, there's two ways to write it. You can write it, you know, like this, which is
Yeah,
the traditional
restaurant signs
Chinese
are-
way, but they
yeah.
don't use that on ballots.
Yeah, they write left
They,
to right.
they actually, you know, transpose the Chinese so that it looks, it's the same order as English.
Yeah. If we
Now, if we do Hebrew or something,
yeah, Hebrew or
then-
Arabic, but browsers for the most part handle it themselves. I mean, there's some edge cases that you have to be careful with, but for the most part, concatenation works the way that you would expect. So it does mean that you have to be very careful when you talk about like before and after don't always mean to the left and to the right anymore in those contexts. So you have to be careful with your
Oh, you mean they'll write it like this?
Well, I mean, after is to the left in Arabic, right? As opposed, whereas in English it's to the right.
Well, I guess the code I'm writing will only
Does
handle
it-
left-right concatenation.
Do they-
Yeah, but it works for right to left languages too. It will concatenate the way it's supposed to.
Oh,
It'll
because
work
the whole string gets drawn.
The whole
right,
string
of
gets
course.
rendered,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
because the characters
Right.
are right to left characters, and so there's some
Okay.
very complicated code that figures out how to render it all.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Oh, yeah, I didn't think of that.
the byte order is like the conceptual
Yeah,
order of the
right,
characters.
right.
So the byte order does not correspond to the rendering order, and you can actually see that if you
So anyway, I won't be able to shorten the names for foreign unless we do some special. Maybe I can. For some. So actually, the way that I did it for district names is I have a config file that contains mappings to clean up because the names are all corrupt. And so I can, I have just some pattern matches that will shorten names. I guess I could make them language specific.
Yeah, we should really get that, that's something for the department, we need to request, we want short names for stuff too.
I mean, unless you have translations for the shortened names.
Yeah, no. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So, I mean, we have the translated names because it comes from OmniBallot,
Mm.
which is an official document, but everything else is sort of unofficial.
That's not what I wanted.
So Carl, I'm thinking about how to deal with translations for these concatenated things, and I'm thinking we might want to have like another way of, like another data structure for text, which would be it would be like a format string and then a tuple of strings. So because and then to translate it, you would translate each of the strings and then insert it into the format string. Because the problem is if we have like the contest name is just concatenating them, then we can't translate that because we've lost the data from where it came from.
Well, I mean, it'd be like, I mean, we would say like, Assembly District 10, but, I mean, and if Spanish said Distrito 10 de la
Yeah, this
Assembly,
would be an
then,
example. Yeah,
then,
that'd be an example. Because then we could.
well, basically, so I'm going to come up with short names by using a config file that contains mappings for things. So I can shorten, you know, certain long names, and that'll be listed in the config file.
Mm-hmm.
So I could make it a language-specific thing.
Yeah, I think we might want to support format strings in the config file. Probably need to think it through.
Well, it's not exactly, well, yeah, it is kind of format. I mean, it's using regex substitutes, but it uses a format string and not a.
No, but what I mean is,
backslash.
I'm saying we want to have cases where the actual JSON file contains a format string.
You mean in translations?
Well,
I mean, actually, I think the translation should be a separate process, so it's, I mean, unless there's something that we use a lot or.
yeah, I don't know of this particular case yet. Yeah, I don't know. But you're saying for things like
Coming up with the translations for short name should be kind of done in the creation of the JSON file.
But so you think everything should be just hard coded? Is like if there's 11 supervisors, it's written out in each case.
Yeah.
Okay.
For short name.
No, I meant for like any other case. Like every case, it should always be expanded out.
Well, no, I think we need to be able to write translation rules, like you said,
Okay.
where there's a pattern and a substitution. And actually, I have code to do that already.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, translations could just be the full name, or it could be a pattern match.
Yeah.
So some things like numbers, the question is like, what do you match as the? I mean, when you're matching. Like a school district name or something like that. I mean, there might be certain collections of words, like numbers is a simple example. You want to be able to write translations that could map things, where you find the English word for a number, or that English number, and then you translate that into the language.
Yeah.
But like a school district or things like that, you want to be able to say like so and so school district, and then it can map Escuela de, you know, or what, Distrito Escuela blah. But then there might be certain words that you translate within a school district name, like it might be a proper name, or you might translate, like if it's Mountain High School District, you might translate the words Mountain High, but it might be a name too, so.
Mhm.
But I think that kind of might have to be handled by a translator.
We'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, we'll worry about that. Hmm. So in a couple of minutes, I'm gonna spend time talking about the future with you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
Oh, this thing has a border, that's why. Okay, I get it.
Oh, shoot.
here we go. Okay. This is what I wanted to accomplish.
Nice.
What?
Looks like you're using Excel or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you,
So,
that's cool. So you can put more than one of those tables per page.
It would be much
Does
harder
it-
if you
does it-
tried that, yeah.
if you go past the table, does it continue scrolling?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
wondering about.
the thing is, the reason that I get away with it is because this table doesn't have anything, this page doesn't have anything else other than
Yeah.
the table, it ends.
Oh, I see, so
Yeah.
that's, it's,
So otherwise it would just stay there? even-
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
I mean, you could make it so that when you hit the next header and it starts sticking, that it will overlap the previous one. That, I think that will probably happen automatically. But yeah, it would keep sticking. So ideally, you would make the table body scrollable, but it,
Because we were talking about possibly having two tables on that page.
okay. So scrollable table bodies, I found a way to do it, but it breaks the alignment between the headers and the,
Okay, well, whatever
so
you...
I'll show you what the trade-off was here. So this is a, let's see, this is a blank copy where it doesn't do this yet. And then you can make the, in order to make it scrollable, you basically end up with this, where it doesn't quite behave as a table anymore. And then you can do, this, but then you have that problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think
And
the
if-
the former one's better, probably.
Even if you do, whoops, even if you fix this, it's now like doing the layout separately in each of them.
The earlier ones.
And so you can write JavaScript that like adjusts, that adjusts the headers for the, but I didn't want to.
What about, was the sticky one support sorting by the columns too?
We could do that, yeah, we could
so
totally. put
we
sort
need
controls
to
here.
check it in Internet Explorer and Internet Edge. There's some websites that let you do that though.
Okay, so let's go around and talk about what we want to
Mhm.
do next. And then, so Rowan, when you finish it, you know how to check it into the demo site now too?
Yeah, I
And
know.
for now, let's just do the November 2011 until we have a script that works for all of them.
2018,
What did I say?
What?
yeah. 11. But no
Or,
more.
yeah, 11 in 2018.
Okay, yeah.
What's that?
Which script are you talking about?
The one to regenerate the demo pages? Right now, there's a
Oh, I
separate script
see.
for each one.
Oh, okay.
But I'll combine those at some point.
Yeah, I think I wrote my own script to do the,
That's fine. Yeah, we're
choose
using
one.
that now. Yeah, we're using that right now. And I'm gonna switch it to use the Docker too. Yeah, so for me, so one thing I want to do is, I want to this will be very easy, but I want to next to the detailed results, I want to also have a link to a CSV file. So they could download the CSV just for that contest. And that'll be easy.
What's a TSV file?
Well, I mean, we may want to generate a new one. I don't know yet.
What's that?
It may be different from the one that's part of input data,
Oh, okay.
just because it doesn't have those coded things at the top. But we could switch that. And then the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to start working on the basically going through the summary page and making sure that every word is translated. So and the question, and we're going to have to figure out a way to maybe in some cases we can figure out the translations by going to sample valves and stuff. But should the translated phrases live in the sample data repo? Or should those be an OR? Because it's going to be, in a lot of cases, they're going to be things that are tied to the template.
Right. Well, I always advocated having multiple templates for each language and then dealing with that separately rather than trying to put, write your template so that it, I agree you want it automatically translated,
like you wanna, like, ideally you'd like to write your English template and make it like not too hard to read, and then, but, you know, readable, and then be able to generate like alternate languages of it. You know, and then that could be checked by a translator if necessary.
Yeah,
I
so,
mean, as opposed to trying to make everything the template, you know, including the heading text and all that, be sort of parameterized translation keys.
mhm. Yeah.
Because otherwise, when you write your you know, that makes it harder to write the template, and then,
Well, we could do it in a way that makes it's easy. I mean, we could have. I mean, we could have it so that it looks kind of like the English template,
yeah.
for example.
I mean, actually, if you just use the English phrase and you have some way to find them, then you could use a you know,
Yeah.
translator.
And then another thing too is you can make a template. You could have a mode where you print out the template, and then it like shows you like what needs to be filled in by the translator. Like we
Or
need
something,
this,
yeah.
we need this
Right.
phrase to be filled in here, so they can see the context for it. Kind of like it'll kind of like print out a. You could render the results with the like the fill in the blank mode kind of.
So I don't think we have, I punted on translations for the district names.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of stuff going on translations for, but I wanted to start
But
doing some simple things.
but I think, yeah, we need to come up with some sort of methodology.
So if these are, like right now the template lives in ORR, so should the phrase translations be in ORR, or should they be in a different repo?
Oh, I think they should be in sample data, but could be as different subdirectory.
Okay. Then I'll do that.
You know, like, I don't know, yeah, so it's like you have translation data and it's independent of a date, but it's dependent on SF because the only translations we have are the ones that we're using.
And it's also dependent on the template too.
Right.
So.
But,
Yeah, so-
the templates are in ORR, right?
We're still using.
But it's
like
kind of
the
a
test-
sample
it's like a
template,
template,
yeah.
So we'll just do it. I'll make a separate directory in that. I'll talk to you about where it should be. But it should be namespace under San Francisco though.
So one thing that I always thought would be good to have, so we want to be able to take like an English phrase and then just do like we need to take the original English and be able to see if there exists a translation for that. But the thing is that I thought, you know, we might want to apply a context to that, like if it's like a district name, you know, that might be different than a contest name or person name or a profession. So, like, so you could have like a phrase and a translation, but you could also add a qualifier to say, oh, this is for a female profession and this is for a male profession or something.
And we can also have like a description field for it, so we know what it's about too.
Right. But the thing is that if, like, when we're writing conversion software, we kind of know what the thing is, so we can apply,
Yeah.
you know, some sort of, well, I just use the word context, meaning, you know, like, where does this phrase fit in?
Mhm. I mean, that's sort of captured. Well, so one is just like the human understanding of what it means, and then there's also the programmatic understanding of what it means.
Right.
That you're talking
And then
about.
we also need to be able to write, instead of writing full phrase equivalents, we'd be able to write patterns.
Yeah.
So, and actually I have like I'm using that, I think, let's see if I have an example.
Yeah, I mean, for now, I just wanted to do the simple ones, nothing with the pattern yet.
Okay, so anyway, I was saying I have I'm using in the config file, I have like so I have like instead of using regexes,
Mhm.
I put in squiggle brackets, things, so there's certain like number maps into a regex pattern. So basically I can translate this simple phrase that,
Yeah.
you know, some non-technical person can write because they have a list of all these
Mhm.
basic patterns, and then you can map this. And if we have like word is one, and then but if we use it twice, then you can say like word two. So you can add a number to number suffix to these patterns to how it gets mapped. And so that's how I'm mapping, that's how I'm cleaning up the abbreviations and things like that for district names. So you could use something like that. So it's kind of a stylized mapping. And I have code to do all that right now.
Okay, well, for now, I was just only gonna, I think the only ones I see are they're just straight phrases, no patterns.
Yeah, well, basically the patterns come in when you get like district names.
Yeah, but for now, we're just getting those in from the JSON, so we don't need to fill
Right.
those.
Yeah, you're looking at like the template
Overloads,
variables.
zeros,
Yeah.
belts counted, summary results.
Right.
So, yeah. Detailed results. I think maybe the only case would be this precincts reporting would be the only one that I see.
And that's in the template.
Yeah, so that's one case where we might want to have like a substitution.
So the question is, how do you find those phrases in the template, or how do we mark it?
Well, I just read the name, I just click on Chinese and
No, I know from the user I meant like when you're coding the template.
Oh, well.
How do we like?
I haven't thought about it yet. Yeah.
Okay, well I can think of some things and send you an email just
Okay.
with some ideas, you know, like just, you know, brainstorming type thing.
Okay. Yeah. The only. Yeah, okay, sounds good. I'll do the same. I haven't really thought about it, but I do think it's something that we should be working on starting soon, because it doesn't look good if our Chinese thing is single.
So what happens in the current translations, or precincts reporting translated?
No.
This is SF.
The other demo.
No, not in ours. In San Francisco's.
And this is what I meant about how we can get the translations by looking at theirs. So current results. But yeah, translate it.
Okay.
So. Oh, see these.
And so you could also use Google to verify that it's what you think it is.
Yeah. Oh, so here I think they have expanded. This is broken right now, but
Like what?
it's like the ballot question.
Oh, you mean if it's a question?
Yeah.
So like
this.
like measure A.
Oh, there it works.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so what we want to do is put the more there only if there is something more.
Yeah.
So that comes in as this is
they have this too.
what's that?
This measure requires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's coded as majority. So you could
Well, you know, it's the 50%.
you could map those. You could map the
the string value of approval required into a phrase.
I think 50% plus 1 is a little misleading because it's actually anything greater than 50%.
Greater than 50%, yeah, that's why majority needs to be,
Well, and the closest increment is 1 vote.
yeah,
Well-
but it's like 50% plus 1 rounded.
Oh, well, rounded
Down.
down?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's 4 of 50% plus 1.
Yeah.
Well, you could, if you just said greater than 50%, then it's true.
Right. That's what
It's
Right,
also,
and it's a difference, right, because the 2/3 threshold doesn't function that way. If a measure gets exactly 2,000 yes votes and 1,000 no votes, it still passes. It doesn't have to be more than 2/3.
that's correct.
Exactly.
In fact,
Yeah.
that's how so I'm not using the winning status from the
Green.
summary,
It's-
EDS. I calculate it
Yeah.
because the EDS doesn't always give you the right answer.
Okay, Ron, do you want to share?
Yeah, so I'm just about to push
The sticky thing?
the sticky table stuff, which I've gotten working. It's not the greatest thing, and scrollable tables would be better, but scrollable tables are a
But
pain.
it's an improvement.
It's an improvement. So that does that. That's that one, actually. So that means that I have done everything that was on my to-do list except a vague item about making the non-RCV reports more useful.
Oh, you still don't have the winning information.
I still don't have the winners. Oh, I also want to, I forgot that as well. I want to render check marks for winners and style them better.
Oh, actually, but can't you just do the max yourself?
Yeah, I can figure it out myself. Also, the data model doesn't give us the candidates in order right now. So I also need
You were
to.
going to do that. I mean, I was offering to help you on that, but you can also do that.
Oh yeah, I can just reorder the candidates myself in Jinja using hacks, and then
Well, let me know
you
So
before you start working on it. Let me know.
So I emailed him what I changed in the schema.
can. Okay.
Maybe I should. Do you know what we added?
No, I don't.
And do you want to know now?
Oh, you mean all the winner related stuff, or?
Yeah.
Well, it's right now. It's not so much about the winner stuff, but about getting the candidates sorted by vote total.
Well, just
Yeah.
tell them
And
the
then-
Boolean for now. Just so
Yeah. So there's on the choice.
Mhm.
There's something called success,
Okay.
and it's a true false
Yeah,
or
that's what I want.
or null. So you
Yeah.
need a helper function to say, is it false? It maybe if you only want to check winners.
Yeah.
Then
true.
you can
I would just wanna-
you can just say success, and if it's a question,
success.
then
Yes.
if it's a valid question, then there's the contest has the Boolean
It's not
called
actually added
success.
yet to the code, but it's.
But
It's not. It hasn't been added yet to the code, right? It's only
it's
been
in
data.
it's pushed to the Git.
No, but it's in the reporter or only in the JSON.
Oh yeah, you don't load it yet.
Yeah.
It has to be added to the
Yeah,
we could
data loader.
So yeah,
Well,
let
the
me know.
Boolean will be easy to add. We could add that quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me know when that happens, and then I already have RCV round. Well, I don't have RCV winners. I have RCV round leaders.
So anyway, I also suggest you add a is question
Okay. And
to
then-
the contest so that you can test, like if it's, like you can put checks on the yes or no if you want,
Mm-hmm.
or like, like I used a thumbs up, thumb down icon instead
So
for
like
questions.
some other style things. Can you look into the Chinese font thing?
So I looked. It is not actually a different font technically. What's happening is it's rendering the Chinese characters in a slightly different font that has those Chinese characters. The Latin characters aren't rendered in a different font. However,
Well, can you make it so that they're the same?
well, what happens is the Chinese characters are a bit taller than the Latin characters, and so that's why there's a little bit of a difference.
Well,
The
one's
Latin
a
characters
serif,
are the
one's a
same.
serif and one's a non-serif.
Really?
Yeah. See, and at least in my browser, this is a serif.
Yeah.
And this is a sans serif.
That's interesting.
I mean, this is like a Helvetica type, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Why is it doing this? 'Cause, 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 Oh, it's just using, okay, your system is switching to an entirely different font. If you want to tell this to be a serif font, we can do that.
Well, wait, but why shouldn't it be out of the box? Because the user, I mean, I'm random Joe's.
Well, we're not saying what we want at all.
Well, I guess what I'm saying, I mean, I don't think we should, oh,
Well, I just want to. It's still selecting a different font, which is. I'm not sure that I can do anything about it because my system doesn't do that, and it's probably just doing font selection based on
okay.
what characters appear.
And then the other thing I want to ask you is, do you think you can think about like a nice way to do the contents at the top? Like maybe there's a collapsible thing, or it's going to be this huge mass of like contests.
Yeah, we could make it a regular list and then make it collapsible.
Maybe it could be like
a grouped collapsible thing. Like
a selector where you can. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think we need to see.
15 minutes, but
okay,
I'm just pushing my thing real quick. Well, what I was going to suggest was what we could do is we could do what you have now for when there's no JavaScript, and then when there is JavaScript, we could make we could collapse each category and then allow you to expand it and have them be below each other instead of all next to each other. That might be a better experience. We can play around with that a little bit.
And then also the way to make it so it won't break is just to put a non-breaking space in.
Yeah, ampersand MBSP.
So you can just write a filter.
Yeah.
To do like I don't know what you want to call it, like no break.
Yeah, maybe.
And then all it does is substitute space for NBSP.
And on the data side, maybe we can even find a way to like have a further grouping to like group stuff beyond the subtitle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the supervisors and the citywide offices.
Well, you have headings, but they don't quite map. But
but that's, I'm saying something finer grained.
That would actually allow you to reduce a lot of duplication in what you have now.
Yeah.
Like you as representative, District 12, 13, 14, supervisor, District 35, etc.
Yeah.
So the thing is that it seems like we might need.
Can you think about that?
Yeah. Well, I was thinking that we might want to have different headings for the reporter than it's used in the ballots.
Mm-hmm.
Because
actually, so I'm going to adjourn the meeting soon.
Oh, yes.
Is there anything else?
Yeah, I was going to say I have like a first cut of turnout that doesn't include mail registration.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm almost ready to check it in, so I'll probably check it in a few hours.
Okay, great.
And then I'll let you know what if you do you want to modify the data loader? Do you want me to do that?
It's up to you. I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
I was going to do the winning Boolean, but success.
Well, if you can at least do the. Well, I'll see what needs to be done on turnout.
Okay.
But and then I'll email you that.
All right, so we need to take public comment on this item. So, seeing the members of the public. Okay, so the time is now. What's the time?
5:48.
5:48 p.m. The meeting is adjourned.